think so.
Donations are exciting to Desiree. Everyone Means Hope for Ashes to Wings nonprofit she founded. The process for each one shared from her garage on social media.
So I know I wanted to do some outreach in my neighborhood because there is a whole bunch of homeless people in my area. So I think I'm going to put together some kits and pass them out.
Hello, welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw. My guest today is Desiree Guerra, a survivor of domestic violence and human trafficking who one day fled her trafficker with little more than a suitcase she doesn't remember packing. She has spent every day since determined to help other escaped survivors rebuild their lives with life essentials like clothing, bedding, and resources and support for starting over. In May, she founded Ashes to Wings, a nonprofit shelter initiative, and the Phoenix Closet, a free resource supplying so-called home starter kits for families starting over. Desiree, I am so honored to have you as my guest today. Thank you for being with us. We have a lot to talk about. First of all, what happened that day 5 years ago?
So the night I left, I was cleaning his room. I came back to Portland February 28th, and I was there for 14 days before I escaped. When I came back, he was love bombing me, and he really wanted me to take back the charges I had pressed February 14th. So he manipulated me into coming back. And the night I left, I was cleaning his room and I found evidence of another woman being there. And so I confronted him about it. It started a fight. When he came home, he told me, "What did I tell you about doing this shit?" And he hit me. And that started, I blacked out after he hit me that first time. That just started a whole big fight. I ended up leaving at 3 o'clock in the morning after he was asleep. I went 8 blocks to my great-grandma's house to call. I called a few people, but no one was willing to help me. And so I called 911. And I waited there for the ambulance, 3 o'clock in the morning in North Portland. And the ambulance, you couldn't recognize my face because he beat me with a gun. He fractured my spine. He broke my nose. I had a lump right here. I had a lump right here. The lump right here is still there. I have a bite mark right here. But I got this tattoo to cover it because it's hard looking at it. And the other side is still showing. So I want to get another tattoo to cover it up so it's not a reminder. Because it's hard looking at it. Like, I was so scared when I left that he was going to wake up. I don't remember packing my suitcase when I left. I know I tried packing it before I left, but he stopped me, so it was halfway packed. And then soon after he broke my nose with the gun, I remember I blacked out. I ended up choking him and fighting back. And I remember coming to, like, I gotta stop this. And then he asked me, can we just be done, and then he wanted to cuddle and go to bed. So I waited until he was asleep to leave. And after the hospital, I went to my mom's house. They bought a bus ticket for me. I was only at my mom's house a few weeks before I got kicked out of there because my mom's husband and I don't get along. So after that, I was living in my car and hotel rooms until I could get into the shelter. It was when COVID just happened. And so there was no openings for like a few months, and then I finally got into the shelter, and I got stable. I found a job, I found a place to live, and I started over.
That is an extraordinary revelation, how this happened. I can't imagine what it was like for you or for other survivors to be in that situation alone. What was it like being alone like that?
It was scary. I've never felt more alone in my life during that time. Like I couldn't count on anyone. Like there was people that helped me during when I was trying to leave my trafficker. But I burned those bridges. And so just having to do it alone, it taught me my strength. And I just don't want anyone else to have to do it alone, because it's hard and it's scary, and you don't know who to trust or if you're doing the right thing, and you don't know how you're going to do it on your own, because my trafficker made me so reliant on him, so dependent on him.
How long were you with this trafficker?
I was with him for 8 months.
How did it start?
So I left a 5-year relationship due to being sexually assaulted in my sleep, and I reported the crime. Washington County told me no crime was committed. The detective laughed about it. And so that happened in February. About August, I started doing adult content, porn, as a way to empower myself, to take my body back. And I was on drugs at the time. My trafficker was a dealer, or he is a dealer, I don't know. And my cousin introduced us because he was my cousin's dealer, and so he would take him some places sometimes, and I was always with my cousin because that's who I lived with, and my cousin was like my best friend. And one day I was walking to the store, to the dispensary, and he was walking the same place. They lived right down the street from each other. So he approached me, and I wanted to buy drugs from him, so we connected. I told him that I was into doing adult content, so he took an interest in me. A few weeks later, my cousin and I got into a huge fight. I got kicked out of my cousin's house, and where I had left was my great-grandma's house. My great-grandma was a hoarder, and the house was infested with fleas. You could take a shower and feel not clean. That's how bad the house was. And so I was staying around at my friends' houses during that time, so I didn't have to stay at that house. And my trafficker, he knew about the situation. He offered to give me a place to live. He kept on about what's the difference between doing pornography and seeing people for prostitution. Eventually, I just got deeper into drugs and started giving him all my money that I was making anyways. And so it turned into, well, now you're going to work for me. And the first time he hit me, I refused to send a free picture because I was doing the adult content and I was selling my stuff. And so I ended up with a few bruised ribs and a concussion. So I went back to my great grandma's house. So I was there. He kept showing up talking about how he's so sorry and it won't happen again, and that I don't think he was saying he loved me at that point. But a few weeks, I just gave up and went back because I didn't want to be at my great grandma's house. It was horrible. It was horrible conditions, and we tried cleaning it, but she wouldn't let us clean it. So I've just moved into his house, and then I slowly wasn't allowed to go anywhere. All I was allowed to do was clean the house and take care of his nephews. And then I was allowed to go out with him only. I wasn't allowed to have any more friends. He put stuff in my head about my cousin, trying to completely cut us off. And he manipulated me so well. I always thought I wouldn't fall for the manipulation because I grew up in domestic violence. I always thought I was smarter than that, but it can happen to anyone.
Fast forward 5 years. In that time, you have done the very thing that you wanted, made sure that other people in your situation and fleeing it, wanting to start life over again, would not have to do that alone. You created a nonprofit called Ashes to Wings, and the Phoenix Closet, a place where they can actually get clothing and items that they need, the bare essentials and then some, and support. This is amazing. Why Ashes to Wings? Why did you call it that?
I was inspired by my Phoenix tattoo. I rose from the fire. I was at the darkest point in my life, and I rebuilt with nothing. And now, 5 years later, I'm a student, I'm a mother, I'm a founder of a nonprofit, and I really changed my life around.
The state of your nonprofit is growing. You founded it in May of this year, right? Mm-hmm. And since then, you now are working your way toward becoming a 501c3, which is a tax-deductible way of raising money, and a full-fledged nonprofit status, joining the world of that and being able to expand and grow. What did you want to have happen with the Phoenix Closet? Where is that being operated right now?
Right now it's being operated out of my garage.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's kind of cramped in there. We have so much donations.
Really?
Yeah, the community has really helped out and showed up for us. It's really amazing.
What's your dream for the Phoenix Closet?
I would like to open a storefront where people can actually come in and pick out what they want.
It would still be free to them?
Yep.
Wow. You said the community is supporting you more. how do you have a plan? Do you have a business plan for how this works once you get the board of directors, which is needed? You do have a board of directors.
Yep. We have a business plan. We would like to open the storefront in the next 6 months, and as well we are going to start looking for land for our shelter, because we want to open a long-term shelter for survivors.
You're really going to need partnerships, don't you think, with people who really back your idea?
Yep, most definitely.
What do you think? You think you're getting that kind of people looking at you now and saying, this is a good idea?
I haven't had anyone reach out yet. I'm hoping people start reaching out because it is needed, and it would really help us tremendously, especially speed up the process for the storefront and our shelter location.
You had a Survivor Talk fundraiser on TikTok in August, a 24-hour live podcast. How did that go?
It went really well. I had special guests come through because I learned that 24 hours live streaming is a long time. I was like, why did I volunteer myself for this? I'm old now. I can't stay up late.
But you thought that this was a good place to start with having, you thought, important conversations that really we should be having. Mm-hmm. What were those conversations?
How trafficking happens, how it's not like the movies. When people get trafficked, it can be family members, friends, people you know that is trafficking. It's more common than a stranger trafficking you.
What kind of warning signs did you want people to be aware of about, watch out, this could be domestic violence, this could be trafficking? Someone
not in control of their money. Someone that is not allowed to go places by themselves. Like, they always have someone with them and that person kind of talks for them. Eye contact, there's not a lot of eye contact. I guess if you look, you show interest. I don't know.
Well, you said you certainly didn't want anyone else going alone, going through this kind of escape to a new life. Mm-hmm. What did you do to build a fire under the idea of ashes to wings?
I started talking about it on TikTok. I had the idea. My cousin was one of my biggest supporters, and she said, you should start this. And I started talking about it on TikTok. I started reaching out to survivors on TikTok that are posting they're looking for help and resources. I do the same thing on Facebook. I started the Facebook page, Ashes to Wings Healing Empowerment Fight.
What do your board members say about it?
They think it's a really amazing idea. They're excited as well. It's moving really fast. I'm very surprised. I did not imagine back in May that I would be sitting here talking to you.
Well, we plan to follow this, and this is just a wonderful way of getting to know you and find out more about your idea. And it is taking wing. That's great. What can people do to help you with, for example, resources? What kinds of things are you hoping? What are you getting that people really need to be able to get at the Phoenix Closet?
The number one thing we need is funding, and we have a GoFundMe available and a bonfire campaign that we are doing. The bonfire campaign is shirts, sweatshirts, crew necks, kids shirts with our logo on it, on the back, and how to contact, and then It said, I don't remember what it says right now, but it says something on the front. I designed it myself. I was going to do another design. I just haven't had the time to do it. So that's another way.
What kinds of donations do you need for people to get started, like these home starter kits? What are those?
We need pots and pans, dishes, cleaning supplies. We're trying to make it 4 complete kits of kitchen, all the cleaning supplies you need, the cooking. We're going to try to get some microwaves to include too, and toasters. The bathroom, it would include the shower curtain set, a trash can, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, any hygiene they might need. And then the bedroom kit, we would include bedroom supplies as well, like sheets, depending on the size bed they have. We would ask them what size bed they have to include the sheets. Some decor in the kits. Basically trying to get anything they might need in the kits.
How do they support themselves or are supported during this transition period? Is there something that's needed there?
A lot of survivors need help with housing costs. I'm not there yet to be able to provide that, but I had a survivor do a yard sale and I helped with posting about it. There's another survivor that does caregiving for kids or childcare. And so
there's so many considerations, childcare being among them.
Yeah.
Where can people learn more about Ashes to Wings?
We have Facebook, which is Ashes to Wings Healing Empowerment Fight. The Phoenix Closet, which is a Facebook group for the Phoenix Closet. And then TikTok. We have someone donating a website, so that is going to be in the future. We will have that out.
Great. What have you learned from your experience as an advocate for action on behalf of survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking?
I have learned my own personal strength because it takes a lot to help someone out of that situation because sometimes they're not ready and so they go back. It's a lot of giving people hope and inspiration, staying positive. Yeah.
And about the whole process of becoming a nonprofit, what did you learn from that?
It's a lot more easier than I thought it was.
Really?
Yeah. I did the business registration, and now we just have to raise the money for the 501c and send in the paperwork, and we're a nonprofit.
If any victim now needs help, your Facebook page says you can get it now. What would you want to add to that about getting help now?
I am able to provide resources like the Center of Hope and Safety. I'm still just starting out, so I don't have the funding to help financially, but I can with the closet, with clothing, hygiene items, household items, shoes. There's also books and jewelry. I like to include jewelry for the moms in my care packages, make them feel nice with some cute jewelry.
Desiree, where do you see yourself a year from now with Ashes to Wings and the Phoenix Closet? What's a realistic goal?
We are registered as a 501c and looking into fundings and grants and possibly looking at land for our shelter. And of course, having a store location for the Phoenix Closet.
What closing thoughts do you have for our InSight viewers today? This has been a remarkable journey.
That you are not alone. There are a lot of people that experience similar situations that don't know how to leave. If you're in that situation, you will figure it out when you're ready. And I will be right here to help you.
Desiree, thank you for being our guest today on InSight. It's a courageous fight, and we'll be with you along the way as you go. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us today on InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.